You can kick it off.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that very easily. Okie dokie, let's do it. Welcome to the quick. I don't know. I'm sorry.
The lack of professionalism. This is why I do it every time. That's why I smash it.
Yeah. You know what? I've been out of practice, so I'm like, what is it? Welcome. Oh, you were.
Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Thandie, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and for that, we are forever grateful. Woo!
It's not it. It's not it.
Joining me as ever is my co-host, Hat Extraordinaire, bringing it back to the freaking 2000s.
Yeah.
Mr. How you do, kids? Nyasha.
Yeah, thank you for the wrong intro and disrespectful intro all at the same time. I love it. I've worn my hat. I've got a hat. This is the first time I've worn a hat on the pod, and I feel great. I feel, you know, like I felt like I looked good, and then I came on here, and I don't now. But I've committed to it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys.
You said I look like the guy that was like, "How do you do, fellow kids?" That's what you said.
Because he has a cap on.
But what's the insinuation of that man?
He's a cool guy.
It's not. It's he's actually masquerading poorly as a young person. So you're saying I'm so old that even with this cap that I am poorly masquerading as a young person. Do you?
No, you look great. I literally said this cap suits his head before we even got on, because we like to run this narrative that Tanny's an awful person. However, he looks great. The cap looks great. It's trendy.
Yes.
Absolutely not Jimmy Savile settings at all. Definitely.
It's not. It's not.
Well, you know what, guys? You've given me the utmost confidence in myself. And I really appreciate it. But look, it's not about me. It's not about my hat. It's about you guys at home. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing, giving us a 5-star review on Spotify. All of them things there, and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that all the time. We're up to about 6,000 downloads a month on the podcasts. Like, that's incredible. Like, do you know what I mean? We only started last year, so we're competing with people who've been going for a long, long time. We're still babies out in this thing, so we appreciate that. But look,
bad bitches don't compete. By the way, we don't compete.
We don't compete. No, we really are in our own league. But look, the last time we spoke for ages, someone commented that we should maybe talk about our life story.
Well, I decided to do it because just for that person.
Yeah.
I decided to do it.
Yeah, whoever you are that commented that we should not talk before we introduce the guest. Mm-hmm. What you've done is made Cameron wait here even longer whilst we chat shit.
Fan love.
All for you. But look, we're here with everyone's favourite Brummie, one of my favourite F1 content creators, my brother in this thing, man like CameronF1. How's it going?
I am well, thank you, Nyasha. I'm raring to go, ready to talk some French Grand Prix and deep dive and debrief as always. And again, as a cheeky footnote, pleasure to be on the Quick Stop F1 podcast, as always, representing out here.
Oh, man.
Cam, you look great.
Behave yourself, Thandie. I'm knackered. Look at all these bags.
Yeah, you look great.
You do look great.
You've got the shape up, the grey jumper. You look great.
I could tell you a cheeky story about my barber, but I don't want to labour the point.
Look, see, that's what a compliment looks like, Thandie. Mm-hmm. And you executed that brilliantly. And you weren't lying. You do look great. You sound great as well. I keep forgetting before you talk that you talk with a nice voice. But look, that's neither here nor there. We could all sit.
For that, can I just say this?
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate you both. I appreciate you. Just to loop the circle back into the introductory phrases. You know those ones.
Yeah. I just want to be appreciated. So we are here after the French Grand Prix, which has thrown up, if not a humdinger of a race, has thrown up a race that was bookended by excitement, and I think probably one of the juiciest races to get into in terms of talking points. There are points that need to be made this weekend, but there's a danger that this podcast, that this race will no longer be on the calendar next year, along with other another classic race such as Spa in Belgium. Cam, I know that you are someone who's very much a fan and respects and upholds the heritage of Formula One, and losing tracks like Paul Ricard and Spa, especially Spa. Some have said and potentially Monaco next year as well. Some are saying F1 is it can't do that because it will start to lose its heritage and what makes it F1. To know our future, we must know our past, right? So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, Nyasha. Again, we find ourselves talking about FOM and FIA stuff, the Netflixization of F1. And I get it. They've got to do it. Liberty Media need to make their money, expedite their path to break even and all that 4 point whatever billion, however much they paid. I get it. And they want to grow into North America, all that good stuff. 3 Grand Prix over there next year. Viewing figures are going crazy. Back in 2017, 700,000 was the average viewership in North America. Bahrain this year did 1.3 in the States. 2.3 million were the viewing figures at Miami. I get the push and I understand it. They've got to reconfigure some of these older school Grand Prix, but listen, pick on Monaco, please. Leave Spa alone. You know what? You can take. It feels like blasphemy saying it after the weekend that was the French Grand Prix. But if I'm honest with you, Nyasha, take away Paul Ricard. Wicked overtakes. But when has that led to an exhilarating Grand Prix, really? Net of reliability issues, Charles Leclerc, all this other stuff. When it's just the Grand Prix, Paul Ricard isn't that good. Take that one away. Leave Spa, Francorchamps, though, FOM, because otherwise we're going to have words. Leave Spa alone.
I thank you for that. That was beautifully put, and I'm probably in agreement with you about Monaco, most definitely, and Paul Ricard. Spa, I'll get to. Thandie, as someone who's in the demographic that F1 are trying to reach, right? Younger audience, women, black women, not specifically, but I'm just saying that they are trying to broaden their market, right? And by doing that, they need to attract people from different demographics to come into the sport, because it is an old white person sport, right? And you are the antithesis of that. Would you take new races, Kyalami, Vegas, somewhere else, and drop these races, or do you have an opinion on that?
I think I'd take less misogyny.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think moving the racetracks is gonna get rid of that. If that's their strategy, then I don't think that's gonna get rid of it. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board. I definitely agree. Please just take Monaco away, please. Just take it away. Why have the Americans landed 3 races?
Well, I mean, the argument is, one, America's a big place. So it's not like 3 races in England and we would be like, or Britain, it would be like Britain.
So is
Scotland,
Africa.
It is, but they're trying to get the first one there. I'm playing devil's advocate, by the way. They're trying to get the first one there. There's talk of Morocco wanting a race as well. So it's not impossible that there could be one in North Africa and one in South Africa, literally. But America, that's where the cash is, bro.
Absolutely.
I understand. Yeah. It's just super annoying, isn't it? Because sorry to be like a grumpy old woman, but now I'm gonna have to wake up super early. And that is long, especially Vegas, bloody hell. But okay, fine. Like, if this is your way of trying to gather new fans, fair play. It's gonna gather a whole bunch of other new fans. I can guarantee mostly men, but there's that. But okay, do your thing, innit? Like,
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Do your thing, F1.
Thandie, I was just going to say, Thandie, to expand on a point that you've made. You do talking about misogyny, sexism, racism, though. If you look at where these things tend to pop up by track and territory, there are hotspots, right? Austria, Red Bull Ring, every single year that you go, there is that old school mentality, and you're going to get all that stuff. You're going to have people on Twitter. So maybe sack off those, but they can't, because obviously it's Red Bull Ring and home of Red Bull. It's all political and techie, man. I don't know.
I mean, okay, on a social aspect, globalization has always benefited the human race in more things, like the industrial revolution, etc. So if this is us now going to the industrial revolution era, then
revolution. Oh my.
Guys, I studied sociology.
Hey,
let's go.
Thandie with the Thandie textbook out here.
Citations and references. Loving
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, if we are trying to gather a large audience and we are trying to garner in women, I just think even though you're building new tracks, are they still safe spaces for women? Are they still safe spaces for LGBTQ plus audiences? That doesn't, just because you've taken it to Vegas doesn't mean someone's not going to turn around and call me the N-word. Do you know what I mean? So I do think F1 still has a lot to learn, but it seems we've moved from the swinging 60s to now like the raging 70s. We're building cults amongst Formula One. We're finding cult fiction. You know, Lando Norris, bloody hell, your guys are real cultists, mate. They will ride for you. So we are definitely seeing the charismatic leaders going out, and hopefully the charismatic leaders of Formula One do encourage their audiences to not be racist and not be misogynoir and all the rest. But maybe globalization is what Formula One needs to move from this, but I just don't 100% agree that it is a good decision.
Look, 100%. And
also get rid of the Canadian GP. I can't stand that race. I can't stand that race, guys. I hate it. I know everyone loves it. Someone came for me the other. I can't stand that race. Why? It's so, I don't know. Like this, just something about it. It's like she gave me dirty looks from across the room, and ever since I've just had a bad taste in my mouth.
Fair play. Well, look, I'll pass that letter on to Stefano Domenicali, and I will say, look, keep your girl in check, because she's looking at my co-host a funny way.
Exactly.
And you know, she doesn't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke. Neither do you.
If you guys could get rid of any track, which would it be?
Monaco GP right now. Get rid of it. Get it out of this calendar now. I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing here? The cars, they can't configure it because it's in such a small space. The cars can't get around it. And then they made the cars wider. Monaco want to fuck around like, we want to do our own thing.
Yeah, it's a walking hazard, that one. I can't lie. But as I've always said, I feel like with Monaco, it holds culture and heritage. And that's where the Illuminati of Formula One all come to conjure. That's where they do their team meeting every year. And so you can't get rid of it because it's free drinks, free accommodation.
For them, man.
And
where's our free drinks? I'm looking at.
When has Formula One ever cared about the fans?
Well, actually, let's get into that, because the F1 this year has seen record attendance across all races, right? Every race has fitted new grandstands. They're selling out in half an hour and whatever, right? But there's talks, pretty much every race, there's talks of facilities being overrun, not enough facilities. People talking about queuing for the toilet for Silverstone, racism in Austria, Miami, the VIP thing was fucked. Like Barcelona and Paul Ricard, traffic trying to get in and out is ridiculous. So they're there and they're realizing they've got this product and they want to expand, but they're not taking care of the fan experience. So people are buying tickets. Like, I've seen this on DTS. I've seen this on the TV. I cannot wait to go and experience it. And they get there.
Where's the glamour?
It's shit. Yeah. It's awful because they're not being treated like the fans that they are. And it's a take. In Formula One, it's take. What are you giving me? What am I getting back? You're giving me shoddy race directors. You're giving me rules I can't understand. You're giving me toilets I can't go to. It's a fucking bullshit, bruv. See the African coming. It's the fucking bullshit.
It's the fucking bullshit.
So you sounded South African. Like, why is South African?
Is that not African?
Well, no, I do sound like colonizer African. It was in your history.
What? You sounded like Cecil John Rhodes.
Yeah, you did. You sounded like...
Wow.
When I was in school, I had a white South African teacher, and he used to call me. He was like, Nyasha, tsetse fly, and a tsetse fly is the flies that hang around the toilet.
On the toilet.
Yeah, and I would just like laugh it off, like, you're funny. This is good banter. And then like, actually, this guy hated me, bruv. But anyway,
my mum grew up in Salisbury Zim era.
Oh yeah,
and she talks about how her teachers used to call her pickaninny, and she laughs about it. And I'm like, wow, Stockholm syndrome.
Standard.
That's why they want to. They were fighting to keep the statues and shit up, bruv. Like, anyway, we can get into Zimbabwe with an absolutely mad political situation.
This is where you insert the clip of Tommy saying, "Not the Great White Hope."
Oh my gosh.
Oh well, look, Cecil, Cecil, man, like. But look, we can get into all of that stuff about races, and look, I think I think they're probably going to release the calendar summer break, so we will see in like a few weeks or a couple of weeks potentially.
Now, Nasha, I was going to say to your point very quickly about the fan experience, right?
Yeah.
2022 was unprecedented settings. And so it was only to be expected that we were going to get record attendances, but not this much record attendances, right? They're blowing it out of the water. And so in defense of some of the circuit providers and the runners, the logistics guys, I don't think they expected to be able to have to cater even for just so many people. It's inexcusable. Nevertheless, even having enough toilets for women. I mean, what are you doing? People are spending big money on paddock passes going into the thousands. What, and you don't have toilets? Come on. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, but I see the driver.
No, I think there is, I guess, a sympathy for promoters, but it's got to be better. And next season, now they know and they've learned from it, it's got to be better because, like I say, people pay a fortune for these tickets. I think, you're spending at least £500. Like, and that's like doing it weekend, accommodation, travel, food, ticket, like all of them things, like at least 500. People are spending thousands though, let's be honest, and they deserve that experience, especially if they're younger and they're saving up to go. Anyway, France. Let's talk about Ferrari. As our esteemed friend Vincenzo Landino would say, Ferrari. Ferrari. I bet Vinny is not happy, bruv. Where do we start? I mean, guys, let's start with Charles, right? I saw a space after the race which said the title was, even a champion in the making is allowed to make mistakes. Discuss.
That's just a joker. Thandie, you want this one first? You got dibs, Thandie.
What's the race that we watched?
France. Paul Ricard.
I thought we were watching how to get rid of a guy in 10 days.
Oh
yeah, shit.
Gosh.
My bad. Like I was switching between. I was a bit confused. I said, "When's Matthew McConaughey get rid?"
Oh.
Well, what are we doing to him? Charles' scream is my alarm for this week. I need to wake up, and so does the team. At one point,
Mocking.
It was the deep breathing as well.
Guys, okay. It was okay. It was the scream, and then it was the it was like the telling signs to pit, like they weren't even watching. They're like,
yeah.
Could you pit now?
Madness.
It was crazy. That team is crazy, top to bottom.
Sorry, repeat the name of the space.
Oh,
The name of the space was Charles Leclerc. Even a champion in making is allowed to make mistakes. Cameron.
That is the next level. That is the next level of unaccountability I've ever had in my life. You know, when you convince yourself that you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I wish I was that naive.
But Thandie, that's not what he's doing, to be fair. Not Charlotte.
No, not Charlotte himself.
No, whoever made the space.
Right. Okay, so there are two prongs of argument that we want to pin down here. The first being Ferrari. Ferrari are manifesting unconscious incompetence. They don't even know they're bad. And if you need any more evidence of that, you only want to look at Binotto coming out and proclaiming that they had a good performance that race. What are you watching, Binotto? What are you on? You're not watching Paul Ricard, because if you watch that race, there's no way that you had a good performance. It was a litany of errors. Charles Leclerc's driver errors, strategy, the grid place penalty that Carlos Sainz had to take, the dodgy, unsafe release in the pit stops. Do I need to go on? How is that a good performance for Ferrari? You're ramping. And then if I talk to Charles Leclerc very quickly, to your point, Nyasha, one mistake by itself is fine, right? Experts absolutely make mistakes in isolation. You have a problem, though, and a pattern of behavior when we're talking about Baku qualifying in 2019, 2020 crash, Vettel in Austria, 2020 Italy pushing after the pit stop, Turkey, Bahrain, Monaco qualifying 2021, spinning off in Imola, and now this in France. What are we doing, Nyasha and Thandie? This is becoming a pattern of behavior. One off, calm.
The Bozo gene. Right. Let me explain the Bozo gene. I don't think I came up with the Bozo gene, but we've got a larger platform, so I think people have attributed it towards me.
Oh, at least we're admitting that we robbed it. Bloody hell.
Oh, yeah. Look, I robbed the outro from Cameron, I robbed the intro from Chigga, and I robbed the Bozo gene. So, like, a Bozo gene is an inherent flaw. He is born with it. Inside his DNA, in his chromosomes, there's whatever there is in your chromosomes, and then there's like a little Bozo gene, just 24th thing there, where he's like, he is just going to short circuit at any moment. Someone said the other day on Twitter that Charles Leclerc, nothing goes on in his pretty little head other than like vroom vroom, his girlfriend, and that's it. And you know when there's like little, you know in cartoon when they get hit on the head and then little birds just fly around the head. Like, that's what that's.
I'm gonna have to come to his defense, Nyasha. No, I have to play devil's advocate.
Let me land.
Go on.
And then all I'm saying is, Charles, I love Charles Leclerc. I've always picked up Charles Leclerc. I think he is the future. But unfortunately, when you can go back through the archives. So for me, when he's like Max Verstappen was able to go through these little bozo moments when he wasn't in a title race, right? And Charles before was not in a title race. So the bozo stuff was kind of punctuated by the fact that he would also pull out incredible drives, and he's third on Ferrari's all-time pole position sitter. So his one lap pace is incredible. He can, under pressure, he can pull it out, but he needs to find the limit of his driving and stick to that. But he's always pushing the limit, and you can't do quali laps every lap.
Truth.
And you have to, and this is where, Lewis has had these moments as well, right? We can't act like Lewis has just come in and been flawless his whole career. Max had these moments as well. Look, at the beginning of 2018, Max had 5 races in a row where he had a driver error incident, right? Mm-hmm. But you would say now, terrorism aside last year, that you don't see Max just punt it off, right? I think I remember Turkey 2020. I can remember Saudi Arabia last year in qualifying, and that is about it, right? If we're talking about the same time period we're talking about for Charles, those are the Max Verstappen unforced areas we're talking about. And if he's going against Verstappen, and in the future when Lewis is back, he's going against Lewis, like he said, he's dropped 32 points this season of his own accord, let alone his BOZO team, which we'll get to. But he dropped 32 points this season of his own accord. He's 60-something points behind. Like you said, if he loses the title by 32 points, he will know that it's his own bloody fault. And for me, if you can't see the big picture of an F1 World Championship and not make these mistakes, then you don't deserve to be champion right now. He's not ready. He's not ready.
I definitely agree with both years in the sense that we have a driver whose team is just not on the same path. They're not even on the same train. They're not on the same bus. They're nowhere near each other. You'd think they honestly have met. Every time they link up for a race, you'd think this is the first time they've met since the last race.
Madness.
It's crazy. But at the same time, this also made me question how much people were getting away with before Mercedes had its small glitch and downfall. A lot of people are allowed to hide the fact that even though they're a top 5 driver and they're in a top 5 car, they aren't actually as good as top 5 status in Formula One.
Wow.
And while you think Charles could have had some sort of practice in the midst of Ferrari's rise, and it just seems like he didn't get enough practice. And so I agree with Nyasha in the sense that he's definitely not ready for a world championship. And I definitely think Ferrari still need to go back to the drawing board, establish who the fuck they are, what they do and how they do it and how they can do it well. But I think there are so many drivers on that top 5 status per se. It doesn't matter who your top 5 is. There's probably the same few as others who you can say are only top 5s because they've A, got a fast car, and B, they were allowed to hide behind certain people's victories that hid their awful little mistakes.
Wow.
Whew.
Not wrong.
Man.
Not wrong.
My internet chose a great time to come back in. Oh my God. That's incredible.
No,
I don't.
Yeah?
No, you're fucking on the nose, on the money. You know, light this season.
On the black stuff. Woo!
You can't do it.
Yeah. You know, like this season, I think more than others, because of the new cars and the new regulations, we really are seeing the light being shone brightly on certain men, and certain men are doing well in that light, and certain men are wilting under that pressure, and that is teams and that is drivers. Okay, now all I'm saying is this, right? Ferrari have been shambolic for years. Let's talk about this shit. Mercedes have been shambolic for 6 months. Not even that. 4 months now, right? And all hell was broken loose. Ferrari have been shambolic since even in the Alonso days, they were shambolic. In the Vettel days, one of the big excuses that Candyman fans say about Vettel at Ferrari was that he was having to be everything in that team and do it from the cockpit. He was having to do strategy from the cockpit. He was having to motivate. He was having to do all the things. And under that pressure, he wilted. Now, I know one driver who's doing that this season and excelling. That's not the point. The point is, Ferrari, as grand as they are, as important as they are, as heritage loveliness as they are, is not a happy home for a world champion, because the organization is a mess, the strategy is a mess, the leadership is. I don't like getting at Benoit because I think he's brought the team forward, but he's an engine man. That's his thing. He's an engine man, and now the engines aren't. The engines are literally nearly killing drivers. But they're at a point where I don't know about his man management, his motivation, his organizational thing. The structure of that team needs looking at, because what we saw with Carlos Sainz this weekend,
Madness, big man.
I don't think I've seen a worse display of team
Neglect
strategy, like performance. Pit wall performance, let's call it. I don't think. I mean, there's been a couple harsh things where I've thought you lot are jokes, but that is harsh, and that's their thing, innit? A top team, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari. I don't think I've seen anything that shambolic as what I saw with Sainz's strategy towards the end last race yesterday. What do you think of what happened? Because you normally have a way of explaining it. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I'm looking at it with my eyes. I like to get at people. I don't see the best in people. Maybe that's a problem that I have. Cameron, tell me, am I being too harsh? Yeah. Am I being... Look, we're trying to be better on this podcast. Right? We're trying to be better people. We're trying to be inclusive to all fans. We love your team. Cameron, am I being too harsh on Ferrari, or was it an absolute shit show?
I think we do have a tendency to lean into the recency bias. And before we go into Ferrari, if I just talk to Charles, that's only the third material error that he's made thus far in 12 races, right?
That's a quarter of the races.
But that's
25%.
Three big errors. The Imola one, the Barcelona qualifying one he recovered from, and then this is the proper one that could lose in the champion. Yeah,
extrapolate that over a season. That's fair. That's nearly 6
Max
races.
And Luke, but we're blessed. Nash, you got to realize this. We're blessed with Lewis not ever making any mistakes. When he spun it round the other day in qualifying, we were like, well, what's wrong with the car? Same thing with Max. These guys don't make mistakes. And so Charles Leclerc, in stark contrast, is a bit of a contradiction in terms, right? A juxtaposition even. Similar thing with Ferrari. When you're looking at Red Bull, they don't make mistakes. They're gangsters, Nasha. They race hard and they don't make any errors. You've seen them in the pit stops, like quick things. Gone again. It's mad. It's mad. It's literally like clockwork out here. So by contrast, Ferrari, when they keep dropping the ball, just look like SH1T. It's bonkers. So to your point, Nash, if I circle back, I think it looks really bad because the competition, the other protagonists in the championship being Red Bull, don't make mistakes. They haven't made mistakes for long. They've been killing it. And if we're going to look at longer form, again, Nasha, what I said earlier, one mistake in isolation to the Spaces title that you talked about, forgivable. Experts make mistakes, cool. But at this stage, even if you look at Paul Ricard as a microcosm, how many mistakes? Let's count out the mistakes what they made. The grid penalty, Charles Leclerc, the unsafe release in the pits, the dodgy strategic. When are you going to bring him in? Talking to Carlos Sainz whilst he's in wheel-to-wheel battle with Checo Perez. That's about 5 already. How many fingers on hands have we got? They just keep making them. And then if you extrapolate it out over the course of the season, check this out. Silverstone failing to exercise team orders. Monaco strategic nonsense again. Austria sprint race, you're allowing Carlos to fight Leclerc before Leclerc gets his teeth into Max Verstappen. What are we doing? It's nonsense. Baku, Imola, need I go on? So it's pattern of behavior here that we're talking to. And for that, it's unforgivable. They need to sort it out. Continuous development will help them out. But like I said earlier, guys and girls, unconscious incompetence it's a disease. It's a terminal disease. You first, again, Alcoholics Anonymous, You need to confess and admit to having a problem before you can solve it. And when Bonotto's coming out there, we had a good performance. Science is saying exactly the same thing. We haven't been a disaster. Behave yourself, Carlos. What are you looking at, mate? It's nonsense. A disaster is exactly what Scuderia Ferrari have been. They need to sort it out. It's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Yeah. Look, I think what's happening is, you know, the way Bonotto was waving his finger at Charles, but I think Bonotto grabs them before they're going to the pen and he's like,
this is what you say.
Don't you dare talk about the team. We'll discuss it internally. And so that's why Carlos Sainz is coming out and saying, oh, yeah, I thought it was okay. This was the right strategy. And, Charles coming out saying, obviously Charles will always come out and say, look, it was my fault. I am stupid. X, Y, Z. He'll do that all the time. But
are you saying then, Nyasha, that you think, because this is a theory that's running around on the boards and social media, right, that it wasn't actually Charles' fault, that potentially he's covering for a mistake, another reliability issue that the car had, and that's why he crashed?
Look,
Nico, if it wasn't his fault, then that's really sad. That's very, very sad.
Seconded.
That is extremely sad. If it's not his fault and he's covering up for an entire team, that is very sad, because the conversation now comes into question his career.
And you got people like me just going, he's got a BOZO.
Yeah.
But look, we can only go by what he said. I would, if I was to take a hybrid of both theories, put them together, I would say that he didn't have all the information when he went to do that interview. And if it wasn't his fault, that interview was done before he was given the full breakdown of what. Of course, they would have gone up to. He probably would have gone. I mean, to be fair, he would have gone up to that screen and he would have checked. Let me look at the throttle. He was talking about the throttle. I think the throttle jammed at some point. You could hear it when he was in the wall. You could just you could hear it. So the throttle did jam. Whether it jammed once he went into the wall,
that's what I think happened.
And and that's why it broke. Rosberg was adamant that he should have been lifting and coasting in that corner. So for the car to get away from him is a lot. But then also Ant was saying that at that point, in terms of mechanical grip, that car was at its maximum load and capacity. And, he's gone onto a white line, maybe onto a bit of dirt. And the tyres have, at the hottest temperature they would be, have just given up. So I don't think that it wasn't his fault. But Cameron, like you said, the car's difficult to drive. Thandie, like you said, I don't think if there was even 10%, or if it wasn't wholly his fault and there maybe was something that contributed to it, I don't think he would be allowed to come out and say it. No. But also you could say that's leadership, right? You don't throw your team under the bus. And if he comes out and he's like, the fucking car just chucked me under the bus again. True. I can't believe this shit. We would say that he's not displaying good leadership mentality. So,
which circles us back to that Spacer's name then.
Oh, Thandie. He'll win a championship one day.
Someone asked me, who do you reckon is going to win a championship first, George Russell or Charles Leclerc?
Oh. Well, it depends.
That's a good question. Who asked you that?
Keenan. Toto's Wolf.
That's a very seasoned question. I like that question.
I'll be honest. I'll back Charles. So Charles just needs to expedite his learning curve, right? He needs to normalize his performance and stop making these unforced errors. And that for me, from a distance, shouldn't be
too hard.
It shouldn't be that difficult. The knock on Charles Nyasha is that he's just exactly what Max had last year with Lewis. That fast track, that what's the word that I'm looking for? That bumper course. You go and you do a 24-hour course and just download all that. That's exactly.
Like he was Neo in the Matrix.
The download. Plugged it into.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, show me, said Morpheus. That's exactly what Lewis said to Max Verstappen last year. And Max Verstappen all of a sudden ain't making no mistakes. He's immaculate. The one mistake that he's made was the wind in Barcelona that took him up, and even then he saved it from the bloody wall. So Charles needs a similar. He needs a quick course like Max Verstappen was privileged to have from at the hands of Sir Lewis Hamilton last year.
And look, let's not forget. I did say terrorism aside, but the terrorism last year was a sign of a man under pressure who couldn't handle it, who resorted to desperate tactics. He was enabled by the FIA. So obviously I'm happy to praise Max, but I do want to just throw some shit on his name as well at the same time. Let's keep that balance. But I know what you're saying for sure. Max is a bit more seasoned this year, but he's not being pushed like he was last season.
Agreed.
And I would like to see him with the same level of pressure last season. Have you learned from your mistakes? Are you going to stop the kamikaze stuff? And I I don't think we've reached that pressure point yet.
I would agree with that.
Of a championship slipping away.
But exactly. Where's the pressure coming from?
Well, nowhere.
When Ferrari are fucking
not anymore.
Nowhere.
Do you know what I mean?
63 points
There's
away.
no pressure.
No. And this is why.
I was just going to say, Nasha, 63 points down the road is Charles Leclerc. For those mathematicians out there, if he wins every race, there's 10 races left. If he wins every race, each of the next 10 races, right? That's 7 times 10, 7 9. So it'll only then be level on points into the penultimate race. He needs to win every single one of them and assume that if Max comes second, each and everything, it's mad. It's implausible, right? Yeah, implausible, eh?
And the thing is, the question about George and Charles is exacerbated by the teams that they drive for, right? So no matter what Charles does to become the guy, and he blossoms into a less mistakes character, is that team ever going to be able to provide him with the car to win?
But the car's there, Nasha.
The car's there, but it's unreliable.
The infrastructure and the team, it's all that other nonsense.
We don't know if that car's going to blow up next race. We don't. There's going to be engine penalties this year. He's going to have to win races. He's going to have take an engine penalty at some point. So take away that race, whatever that race is that he's going to be at the back for. That's one race he's not going to win.
It's not going to happen, is it? Depressing, mate.
But look, Red Bull had reliability issues of their own, and the team I want to talk about next could come back to start taking points off them, because on his 300th start, Thandie, we're going to fight.
What did I do?
Me and you, we're going to fight. Why can't I talk about Lewis Hamilton without you making... I can see it in your eyes. I can see it. You're already looking to the sky like...
Listen, I don't have my glasses today, so the whole audio is going to be me like this anyway.
But Lewis Hamilton second, George Russell third. Mercedes are picking up points and podiums when people are messing up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Which is what? Who said that last week? Who said last week
That's just fake.
What did you
that while the kids fight, Mercedes is gonna crawl in?
You did say that.
Insert the clip here.
What I wanted to ask though, before I get into the praise, have Mercedes always been Lewis and vibes? Because I think that there is some masking of some deep deficiencies in this team that Lewis is able to essentially plaster over. Now, qualifying is a mess at the moment. We are 8 tenths. Now, look, take away the toe that Charles Leclerc got, let's call it 6, right? We're 6 tenths off the pace right now.
And the rest.
I just say, anytime you are at arm's reach of Kevin Magnussen, the call is coming from inside the house.
So, but in the race, obviously, I tried to carry on. In the race, Lewis is able to extract something out of the car. They've taken the sensors off the car. They've stopped fanning around with his setups. He's able to set the car up how he wants, and he is extrapolating the most out of that package. The pit stops are 3.8 and 4.1. And before I get into praise, Mercedes, is Lewis papering over the Mercedes cracks? Let's go with that one.
Ladies first, Thandie. I don't even want to come in. I don't even want to talk to this. Lest I get ratioed again.
I feel like this is part of Nyasha's therapy. accountability, realizing things. To me, you're just asking me, is the water wet?
Okay.
Because it's always been quite visible to me.
Yeah.
As long as Lewis is happy, the team is happy. But when Lewis isn't happy, the dynamics is off. Because he what's that? You've ever seen that advert where he puts like he smacks something on it? Oh, what is it? It's like this. It's like sold on CVS, and it's like this tape, and you just put it on, and it stops like proper big industrial like leaks.
You know what's happened for you? You're falling asleep with the TV on too many times. You know when the programs stop, and then you wake up to someone trying to sell you a watch on CVS.
Yeah. So yeah. He does make up for it, doesn't he? Like he does plaster, and I think the synergy between him and Toto has always worked well.
Yeah.
So essentially, yeah, perhaps somebody said it. It wasn't me, but somebody said it. Because I'm scared to get ratioed. They actually really scare me.
I think we can be honest. Like, you know,
I'm gonna talk to it.
Cameron, look.
I'll talk
Cam,
to it.
look at Cameron just in his seat. He's just
I'll
ready.
talk to it. Yeah, I'll talk to it.
Because Cam's.
I've had this bullet cocked for ages, ready to go. Let's get a bit of Toto Wolf action going on again. Look, okay. So we were promised, listen, they were gonna nail it right. The end of the problems was going to be porpoising and bouncing. They've nailed that since, and still we're in excess in raw pace, not race pace, in raw pace qualifying. We're in excess of half a second. Half a second, Nyasha and Thandie, in F1 terms, is an age that's far down the road, not a tenth or 2/10, half a second. That's far down the road. And if you look at, I was having an argument with Thanos over the weekend. If you look at the restart after the safety car, Max was just pulling away easy, and you know everything was turned down in that car. The race was won. So I'd argue that it's more than a half a second. I think we're talking about 6-7 tenths, but whatever, minor. I'm getting a bit frustrated at Toto Wolff at the moment because he's just saying, for me, Nyasha, to use your terminology, fraud watch. Every time I see Toto Wolff, to use the footballing analogy, he's looking more and more like Arsene Wenger in 2018. Nyasha.
It's not Papa Wenger.
Watch this. What are you talking about, Toto?
Not Papa Wenger.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Toto Wolff, post-race, that you don't know what's going on currently to find more time? You're freestyling. How about you look at the pit stops first? Because you're losing enough time on that every single race. You just need to get back a second every race. You just need to do some practice and some drills.
Do you know what? I saw a quote from Mercedes that pissed me off today. And they were saying that because they're having to do all of the setup work and they're coming to the races and whatever, that they don't have enough time. They're not able to put as much time into pit stop practice as other teams, and that's why their stops are so bad. Let me tell you now, okay? Enough is enough. Team LH are carrying this fucking team spiritually, physically, financially, okay? And we are giving you leeway, but do not lie to me, bruv. No, don't lie to me. If you're saying that the pit stops are bad because we're just not prioritizing them, whatever, cool. But you're telling me that you're okay, you're happy in a car which is slow, that when we're trying to make up ground and we're trying to do strategy, that we're happy to give away a second and a half, at least, twice a race. 3 seconds a race, at least. We're just happy to be like, you know what? We're going to put these wheels on like we're getting ready for a night out. Pre-drinks.
Mad.
Playlists. You know when you don't even get in the shower until you've got the right tune? That's Mercedes. I can't even believe what I'm seeing out here. My driver is busting his ass trying to make these strategies work. And you're pulling out 3.8 seconds, 4.1 second pit stops. It's incredible. It's not like, if it wasn't for the fact that Lewis was extracting the best, if it wasn't for George doing really well at the beginning of the season, and we'll get into George in a second. I think I'm happy with the results thus far, but I think they're papering over a lot of stuff, and everything's harmonious and happy now because we're getting these results because people are fumbling in front of us. But that's right. All we can do is what we do. But at some point, something's got the performance side of things. I think whatever, we fucked up this season. I think Lewis even said all the word this year is for next year, so I can take that. Whatever, right? I don't like it, but if Lewis is saying that, then whatever. But these pit stops are
mate
off, bruv.
Like, Nyasha,
yeah.
It's
so are you saying essentially? Are you saying essentially having a fast car covered up for how shit they are when it comes to strategy and pits?
I think look. How many all the strategies that were like, oh, those are genius strategies. How much of it was just Lewis driving the absolute bricks of that car? Hungary 2019, Spain 2021, Monaco 2019 when they left him out on mediums for like 60 something laps or whatever. And in Max Verstappen nearly overtook him. Like there's instances where the strategies worked out because Lewis has just drove that car. And we saw last season where we lost races because of pit stops. We lost France. We lost potentially strategy America. Monza, Max Verstappen had a 12-second pit stop. All we had to do was have a sub 4.5 second pit stop, and we would have been out in front. They stick him out in the exact time it would take Max Verstappen to be alongside of him, and they stuck a car on his head. Like, it's just honestly. Anyway.
Nyasha, it's mad.
I had to get that out of the way because I can't deal with it.
No, you've nailed it, Nyasha. I'm glad that you're talking to it properly and curtly because it needs to be said. Put on top of those examples, Paul Ricard last year, it's all the same thing. Nyasha, again, patterns of behaving. What I will say, let me give Lewis some props here, yeah, because I don't know what his Zen master's going on with or what breakfast he's taking in the morning. But if you know, Toto Wolff was asked after Max a couple of years back, switch Lewis for Max in that car. Do you know the expletives that you're going to get down your ear on that pit radio with all the nonsense pit stops and bad strategies? Max will be flaming up all of them. Bono, the lot of them, James, all of them will be getting it in the neck. So credit to Lewis for maintaining his zen and stoicism. That's an otherworldly effort from the 7-time champion Sir Lewis Hamilton. Credit, dear.
And it's sad because I think even if he wanted to, he couldn't because he's not allowed to. Because if he does, then it's angry Lewis. Look, I don't want to get into it, but there was a well-known podcast which intimated that at the beginning of the season, Lewis's demeanor and mood was scaring the Mercedes pit wall, and that was why they were struggling to communicate. I don't agree with that, but to insinuate that because Lewis would strongly ask what the fuck's going on, that is interpreted by some and in the media as aggression, and he's not allowed to have that space. So yeah, fucking Mercedes. But man, what do we think? Yeah,
I was going to give you something very quickly, Nyasha, a cheeky slam dunk out here. I was particularly annoyed by Max. If we're talking about Max and we're going to talk serious about Max, I was particularly annoyed by all of the empathy shown in race over the radio about is Charles okay? Says Max Verstappen. And Christian Horner, you see Christian Horner's interview as well. Christian was like, the best good news story to come out of this is that Charles is okay. 2021, when you parked on Lewis Hamilton's head, where was that empathy? Didn't see, not a whiff of it. And so, you know what? I rate the fact that these guys are working so well, the high performance. I admire it per se a little bit, but the way that they go on off the track disgusts me. Variance, and it's not acceptable, man. Not acceptable.
Thandie, do you have a word for Red Bull? Cool. So Let's get into stars and donkeys because I think we'll be able to cover some of our other things on the race in there. I'm going to go to you, Thandie, first. Let's have your star of the day.
George Russell.
Love that. I love that.
George Russell. You sneaky, you teasing me, you sneaky.
You're naughty.
George Russell is fucking playing in Checo Perez's head. He's inside your head, Checo. And I love it. Yeah. I just love it. Like, that is where the real entertainment is. All you man talking about Charles and Ferrari and Mercedes, we're not asked. The real fucking show right now, if no one's deeped it, is Checo and George Russell. And the way those two are getting at each other and the way that George is just winning is so entertaining. I have a prediction that next week, though, Checo might just bite back because he's a biter. He bites back. Checo is vicious. He's a buyer. But I think it's just so entertaining. I'll even put Checo there, to be honest, for actually keeping the French GP quite entertaining. I think that was the most entertaining part. There was nothing surprising about a Ferrari engine just stopping. There was nothing entertaining about Yuki randomly spinning out because come on, it happens all the time. But it was an aspect of entertainment for this Tom and Jerry show that I saw amongst those two. So yeah, I'm giving that for keeping me awake today.
Lovely.
When I was
lovely stuff. Cam.
Carlos Sainz.
Before we get into that, sorry.
Go.
I was going to ask you, I just wanted to touch on Checo. Maybe we'll, you know what?
Go for it. No.
Let's do it now. Yeah, the VSC. Checo Perez, Red Bull are saying that because there was two notifications to end the VSC, that it caught Checo out and that's what cost him the place. Now, to those who are new to F1, right, or to those who may not know how a VSC works, is that a valid excuse?
I don't know, Nash. It depends who you believe, right? It depends who you believe. I'm not sure. I think I'm healthily skeptical that George would have got the correct VSC information in his car.
Yeah.
But Perez, it's a centralized system, right?
Yes.
And Perez wouldn't have got it, even if it defaulted to the reserve system. I just think I'm not buying what Red Bull are selling here. For once, I'm going to side with. I'm going to drink the whatever FIA is selling for once in my life. I believe what the FIA, the party line.
Oh yeah, look, you know when like
up to
sometimes like when you've got sometimes when you're in a relationship and your girl will be like, like you might have been stayed out for a long time and you're not told her why and then like, where were you last night? And you just blame it on the friend that everyone knows is an absolute fuck up. You'll be like, Ben, I had to stay at Ben's house because Ben was fucking around. He got into a fight. I had to stay with him. Like, that's the FIA, bruv. Red Bull was just trying to put it on the FIA.
Blame it on the guilty party.
Thandie,
don't do it. Don't put. But how dare you paint us all with the same brush, Thandie? I'm not having that.
No, don't paint that. Don't paint all men with the same brush.
Not having that.
I am awful, but that's not the point. The point is, you can't just blame the FIA for everything, bro.
I would. I tell you what, though, the salient point in all this, going back to what Thandie said initially, giving George Russell his flowers, there was genius in the way he handled that VSC restart, right? Because you've got to stay to a delta, but there's scope for you to hang back and let the delta build yourself a bit of a delta margin. And then as the VSC's locking off and about to cease, build up a bit of momentum when Checo Perez is still looking at his thing, thinking what's going on, and then he's just made the overtake super easy for himself again.
And
racing chess, not checkers. Love that from George.
At the same time, George Russell swats up. There's no way you can tell George Russell what you've done is wrong, because he'll tell you, actually, in article, this, and this, it says this and that. He swapped up. The majority of drivers and their freaking team don't even do their homework. George Russell is the one who turns up on time and does his homework. He also does everyone else's homework on the bus, by the way.
Love that.
Do you know what I mean? So, God, like, what an excellent display of driving and
he was sick.
up.
He was sick. Nasha, just quickly about George Russell, though, I will say this. He's very aggressive, and at some point he's going to get caught with his pants down and that, because the old Senna adage summarizes George Russell's way of driving right. If you no longer go for a gap, then you're no longer a racing driver. He's a moth to a flame in that sense, and that was a very cheeky, ambitious dive bomb that he put up the inside of Checo Perez, and he's just got to be one of these days with that sort of attitude. Since we're talking about Charles Leclerc and being a bit ambitious, he's going to get caught with his pants down absolutely sometime soon this season.
I
agree.
I hear that, but you know what? George has got that fucking dog in him, bro, and I'm sick and tired, of people trying to talk about my fucking driver like he ain't got that dog in him, bro. This guy said, check the fucking rules, bruv. Read the rules, because I know them. Genius. This guy said, look, I'm not settling for 5th place. I want that, 4th place. I want that podium. He's not here to take part. He's here to take over, but he's here to do it in a respectful way. And he's here to show, he showed it to Max Verstappen in Barcelona, and he's showing it yesterday, that he is here as a driver who, look, there was someone in that car last season, the season before that, the season before that, the season before that, the season before that, who was absolutely fucking useless in these situations. He was a liability in these situations. If there was that driver in this car, in that situation, that is, look, I dread to think how he would have dealt with this season's car. And it would not have been with the consistency that George has shown. And in the heat of battle, in defending and attacking, we've got someone who's going to... Valtteri would have never gone for that gap. And you know what? I respect him for going for it. I get it. It might end up in an accident. But at least show that you're willing to take a risk and get the points for the team, instead of just like meekly defending off in pant to Max Verstappen at every opportunity. This is not what we need in the driver. What we got in George... I don't get people who hate him. I don't get it. I love that kid so much. All of those images with him and Lewis on the podium, that was his whole life. You could see it when Lewis was pouring champagne on him. I feel the rain is calling. He was fucking, oh my God, you could just tell in his head. That was his life. Oh my God, that brother ascended, bro. Oh, I was so happy for him. He is living out his dreams, and we should be very proud of him. But someone else that you're proud of, Cameron, Carlos.
Yeah, I'm not a big Carlos fan.
I'm
not. Thandie, listen to me. Thandie, listen to you. You're preaching to the choir. I'm not a big Carlos fan. I don't like him. Far too heavy on that throttle pedal far too often. I'm not a big fan. But he has potential, and when he does come good, like at Monaco, and like at Paul Ricard, he's a serious.
You mean when he doesn't listen to his team?
Oh, as well. Yeah, you got me.
That's good, right?
And bad. Well, it depends.
No, that's awful.
Depends.
That's
what
not a good thing.
Depends who your team is. If your team is Ferrari, and they told him to back up the pack and let Charles Leclerc and old tyres go forward.
No, but we've just been talking about how Ferrari are potentially using the drivers to cover up for their mistakes. That's not a good thing. So why should we say?
Okay.
I think what the problem is, again, as a part-time casual that wants to see competition for 22 races, Carlos is effing up the bag because he's been sabotaging who ostensibly is the quicker driver in that red car, Charles Leclerc, for the longest time. Austria sprint race being the best case in point. Sit back, Carlos, a little bit and know your role. You're the second driver, big man. But yesterday, at very least, I say that all that to say, yesterday, he wasn't bad at all around Paul Ricard. Brilliant drive from the lad.
I've got a question.
You think he does that to save face?
No, he's good. He's decent, Thandie. You can't even.
I didn't say we're decent, but I don't see how he's driver of the day
Because
when
go on, Thandie.
he had that little pit moment.
That's not him though, is it? You can't.
That was the team.
You can't tar him with the Scuderia Ferrari brush.
I feel like this is sympathy vote, guys.
Oh,
I think you know what? I think you're being. I see what you're saying, but I actually know what, Thandie. Let me actually just back Thandie's up real quick. The reason there was that confusion with the pit, let's go back. It started with Carlos not able to pass Perez and saying, "What are we doing here? Can we pit so I can?" And they were like, "Okay." And I think they said, "We'll see. We'll get back to you." And in the time that they were looking at the stats and checking their computers and doing the calculators, I believe he passed him. And then, as he was passing him, they're like, "Okay, yeah, come in."
Mad.
But he was actually passing him. So,
mad, Nyasha.
but that's Ferrari's fault, right? But it started with science. Now, if science was really about it, I haven't listened to all of the radio, but he would have said, I mean, he did actually. He said when they were like, "Look, we're going to bring you in," I would have just carried on driving around. Just carry on driving around and say, "Look, no, I'm not coming in. Like, we're past him now." The reason I wanted that before was because I couldn't get past him and I thought I'd have enough laps. They had how many laps left? Like 10 laps? Can't remember. 10, 12 laps?
Yeah, circa.
So it was never going to work out. But they were starting that process because Carlos started asking questions about wanting to come in. Now, Ferrari should have just said, "Okay, we're going to risk it." We don't know if he'd had a tyre blowout, if he would have crashed out like Leclerc did because, their tyres were going. We don't know. And I think there wasn't a safety car within that. No, there was all the way to the end. So we don't know. But to shoot some bail, Carlos was asking for NAF strategies. And they gave it to him, but they just gave it to him too late. So they're both having a mid-off, to be honest. I've got a question. Someone's given us a question. This is from Danae, who says, I think it's yes with the now. Yes, Danae with the now. Ferrari hates science versus Red Bull hates Perez. Who hates their second driver more?
What?
Ferrari.
Who hates their second driver
What, Thandie?
Actually, nah.
I'm going to tell you now, yeah. Since Perez won in Monaco, Helmut Marko's been going into his car and just taking shit out of the Helmut Marko saw Perez win in Monaco and he saw the pace getting too close. He said, "You know what? He's turned Perez from the tyre whisperer into the tyre abuser, bruv. Because them tyres are going off in seconds, and Perez is probably driving that car exactly the same. Like, why the fuck is my car fucked?" But I think it's a good question, right? Because I think Red Bull, it's kind of like, I don't know, like racism that you get in Britain, right? Sometimes, like the racism you get like in the north is like the Red Bull. Like they're just telling him to his face, like, "You're the second driver," right? But like in Ferrari, it's racism you'll get like in London where everyone's really nice to your face and then behind your back they're like, "This fucking N-word."
Right.
and that's, what would you prefer? Would you prefer someone to just be openly disrespecting you to your face, Red Bull, Checo? Or would you prefer someone to be like, "Oh, you're the equal driver," but really, they really want you to?
I mean, as a person who's from up north.
You didn't like that, did you? You didn't like it when I said that, but they won't call me a monkey in London, I'll tell you that for sure.
Stop that.
Listen, you guys, word on the street, I've had a conversation with a couple of people that work in F1 and close to these guys. And there is, if I speak to Carlos Sainz in Ferrari, those guys upstairs, Binotto's bosses, love them some Carlos Sainz Jr. It's only the guys in the garage that you see who have spent and have length of service with Charles Leclerc, who are all in on the Charles Leclerc train. So they've got this, you have this dichotomy, right, between like the key stakeholders at Ferrari are all over some Carlos Sainz Jr. and those guys with their hands on deck changing the tyres who are all about some Charles Leclerc. So I think in that sense, I think Perez has got to get my vote as the the lost, the disenchanted sibling.
And look, like, people are talking about, oh, Mercedes, how are they going to handle that situation? How are they going to handle that partnership? Hey, that partnership's working fucking gloriously. Gloriously, bruv. George Russell fits like a glove.
For now, though, Nasha. For now.
I think George knows his place. And you know what? I think if he didn't know his place, I think he could be easily slapped into his place.
Yeah.
Nasha.
Easily slapped into his place.
Listen, let me put this on record now. Yeah. George Russell is moth to a flame. He can't help. Show him a gap. He can't even help himself. It's instinctive, like sneezing to him.
Do you think?
It's being tall. You just feel like you need to have all the space in the world. Do you know what I mean?
He can't help himself.
I'm telling you about that from experience.
You jokers.
Okay. I'm just wondering. So look, it's fucking solidarity. I'm looking at me. I'm fucking enjoying. So, oh wow, wonder who I'm gonna choose for star of the day. 300 races. Sir Lewis Hamilton. What a guy! What a guy!
Let's go.
So fucking obnoxious.
Guy. Oh my god! Hey, if you've got to this part of the podcast and you don't like Lewis Hamilton, turn your speakers off right now. Let me tell you that now. I'm not here to fuck about.
You guys, I was at Nyasha's house yesterday, and I arrived, and he was shouting at me because I knocked on the door like the police.
Bruv, no. Let me imitate your knock yesterday, yeah? Because it was like, hold on, it was like, and it got more aggressive with each fucking knock. I'm like, who the fuck is knocking on my door like this? Oh, what the fuck is going on? I look through the keyhole, it's just this lovely tiny Thandie at my door knocking with the power of 1,000 lions. What the fuck is going on here? With her chest, that's the dog in her, bro.
That's the dog in her. Anyway, yeah. So I turned up, and he was watching the race. I watched the race today, by the way. He watched it yesterday. I had to go out yesterday. Had to do hot girl shit. And there was a scene after the race where Lewis is on the floor. George just stood. Oh my
gosh!
And we watched it, and he just muttered in his he said, "Yeah, someone's gonna turn that into a meme." I did him like, "You're gonna turn it into a meme."
Wait, that's what I'm most successful.
And it was an absolutely brilliant meme, by the way, to give you flowers.
Insert the tweet here. The thing is, I got to the event and I was now still looking because I'll be checking in, and I literally just said, oh, fuck's sake.
I knew it. The thing is,
knew it.
I couldn't do it when she was there. I already knew it in my mind. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is the thing, yeah. If she wasn't there, I would have gone up to the TV and taken a picture myself, yeah. But I was like, I can't do it. But I do it while Thandie's here. And then she sees the reaction this tweet's going to get. She's going to kill me. So I had to wait. That she was at the venue, so she couldn't come back in the taxi and kill me. So I was like, cool. Good. And then I was like, let that tweet go. Oh my God.
Brilliant.
What I will say is, yeah, the times when we've got the most followers, let me tell you, are the times when I posted the video of Lewis getting into the car and I posted the video of this fucking meme. So clearly, it's not the fan cams, it's not the content, it's not like you guys just you think you're going to follow us, it's just going to be like Lewis Thur stuff. And you're absolutely right. Check our Twitter at the Quickstop F1. I'm joking. No, there's going to be good content. We're good content creators. But look, Lewis Hamilton, what more does he have to do? He's spoken about in carrying this team. All I want is for him to have a car that is 2/10 off in qualifying. Like, just give him a sniff. Him dropping Perez on pace, I think, is incredible. And I don't think we're deeping that enough. That in that car, he is dropping tenths. Like, he was pulling away from Perez to the point where I don't think the undercut would have been an option for Sergio Perez. And I just think at his age, at this landmark, I think no one who's gone over 300 races has won a race, and I think it's guaranteed at some point that Lewis will do that. And that speaks to the fact that I think someone was saying to me the other day, Lewis has dictated his whole career, right? Like he had to do what he had to do in the junior categories, and he progressed at a stealth speed to get into Formula One. He left McLaren at the right time. He's staying on. Mercedes will have him until he says he wants to go. There's certain drivers on the grid who have been kicked out of their teams, who have been sacked from their teams, who have left the sport altogether because they could not get drives. Not mine. My driver's good, comfy, driving in slippers, bruv. Lying down in the podium room. Some of you, man, haven't tasted champagne for a minute. Okay? So I'm just saying, I think 4 podiums in a row. He's the greatest of all time. I love you, bro. I just fucking love this guy. He's the greatest. He's the fucking greatest. Yesterday I was so happy. I'm not even gonna lie to you, yeah. The fucking like the Mercedes stuff, like all the podium pictures, George living his best life. It's like how George is feeling right now. That's me. I feel like I'm under that champagne. Maybe it's Jay from Wolfpack pouring his champagne.
The guy was like drinking his like apple juice out of one of these jars. He had a quick stop top on the side. He was just so happy.
I was living my best life. Living my best life yesterday. Oh my god. Lewis Hamilton.
Mate, incredible drive from the chap.
Ridiculous. Say something.
Please stop me. Stop me, because I will carry on.
No. You're entirely justified, man. That's not hyperbole. That's truth that you've just spit there, Nyasha. It was an absolutely incredible drive. And again, I suppose to Bryson Sullivan's one of his quotes, this is the opportunity to see exactly how great Sir Lewis Hamilton is in subpar machinery, because you're going to get these drives when he outperforms the car and nails Checo Perez in a car that should be 5/10 a lap down the road, right?
Yeah.
He's an incredible driver. And he says something else that's really salient, Nyasha, as a black man in a sport that's been dominated by old white folks, old white men for the longest time, that Lewis Hamilton is a black man navigating that space better than anybody else has in history is nuts. And still at the age of 37, nailing it, giving it to the young lions in Max and George and Lando and all these buds, absolutely nailing it. And moreover, still the master of his own destiny. Chef's kiss for Sir Lewis Hamilton. The dude's incredible, man.
This is why I started this podcast. I could do this shit all day. Thandie, you already gave your star of the day, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did. Let's go to you, Cameron, for your donkey of the day, please.
There can only be one. I almost feel like it's cheat codes with this Scuderia Ferrari. You need to get all the donkeys not of the day or the month, of the year and the season and the rest. They just keep on making mistakes. They can't get out the roadway, seizing defeat from the jaws of victory always. It's an absolute joke. And again, have a word with yourself, Ferrari. Understand the mistakes that you're making with a view to correct them going forward. I don't want to be sat here in 4 or 5 weeks' time having these same conversations about driver error, managerial, strategic, tactical errors. It's nonsense. This isn't rocket science, man. Fix up.
Look, it's not just you who feels this way. I'm reading the quotes from our listeners. I don't like saying fans because that makes it feel like we're above.
That's crazy.
That's
not even the mood. Like,
yeah, Joe, it's not fans, but listeners, family. We've got Rue, Zezbe. I'm sorry, I hate reading some of these usernames. But Ferrari, poo emoji. What a bunch of clowns. Abby MCEC. Abby McKellia. Abby McKellia. I've not read that right. Abby, I'm so sorry. Honestly, y'all could just keep the whole of Ferrari as a donkey of every week at this point. Oh man, we have got Brad Pit Stops, Prince Diweni. Ferrari went from horse to donkey today. 1, 2, 3, J. Pooh, Ferrari strategy. I've never seen a team bowl a podium like that. Forget Donkey of the Day, Ferrari win Donkey of the Year when the season is over. Mind of JO31. I mean, like, honestly, I could go on and on and on.
You know, there's a film called Racing Stripes. It's about a zebra that races in a horse race.
This is the perfect analogy for them. Thandie with the metaphors, nailing it. But it's true, Nyasha. That's exactly what
Racing
they are.
Stripes.
Oh my God.
It's nonsense, man.
Yeah.
Just throwing away what could have been an absolutely incredible championship, and it's all gone. Cheers, Ferrari.
I'm definitely gonna second that as my donkey. Absolute shambles. You are embarrassing. You have ruined the entire experience.
You are a liar. You are a
You are a liar. You are a cheat.
Liar.
Get out of here. I don't know where that's from Love Island, but I miss Love Island nowadays because.
No, you don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, okay, I miss it on Mondays.
Oh, right.
Mondays,
Right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, if we recorded on Sundays when there was no Love Island, then there would be no issue.
There is Love
yeah,
Island on
but
Sunday,
I have a duty of care.
To the lifestyle, and I love that. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. To be fair, I had a nap after the race yesterday. It was too much for me. The rum got to me, the heat got to me, all the celebration and podiums got to me, the notifications after I posted that tweet got to me. I was like, you know what? It's a lot right now. I need to sit down.
Do you have a Still I Rise tattoo on your chest? Is that what that is?
No, it's a black power fist.
Let's
Oh,
go.
right.
Do you want me
Okay.
to show it? Or?
No.
Okay.
Don't show your nipple on the podcast.
Yeah, no. But I can do it without.
Yeah, proper.
I'm so dyspraxic. I'm like, how does that work?
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Nyasha's turned into Magic Mike as of the 25th of December 22.
There you go.
Derobing.
There you go. That's for the ladies. Yeah, Ferrari are bad.
Ferrari are shy.
Is that your donkey, Thandie?
Yeah, 100%. And then I'll also give it to Yuki because what the fuck? The less said about that, the better. I'll also give it at the end. Weren't the two Astons spinning out?
Lance Stroll. Absolutely. Lance Stroll.
What the hell?
I kind of want to talk about this. I know he's Candyman, yeah.
Okay.
But Lance Stroll, do you think Lance Stroll deserves a penalty for what he done? Sorry, for those who don't know, because it was a bit like last minute. On the last corner, Seb Vettel attempted a switchback on Lance Stroll, and Lance Stroll in the middle of the corner basically backed up and slowed down so that Vettel couldn't get past. Was that a legal racing maneuver?
It's borderline, Nyasha. It's borderline. And to admit, listen, if we're in the same racing for the same team, and you did that to me and you're gonna have words afterwards, more than words. It's cheeky. You could almost see the fire and brimstone in Seb Vettel's helmet, right? Fuming. You don't do that to your team out. It was borderline. I don't think it was illegal, and he shouldn't get penalised for it. But it was something that you would see Fernando El Plan Alonso doing, right? Backing people up with.
But isn't that what we want from Lance? I want to back up Lance
But it
for
was
a
just
second.
out of pocket where.
But we want him to be. Oh, sorry, I thought my internet cut again. Sorry, I was sorry.
Tandis.
So we want him to be showing fight. We want him to show that he wants to be in Formula One, that he wants to beat his teammate, that he wants to be top dog.
Nyasha.
You know, so if you're on the last corner, are you saying you want him to let his teammate do the switchback on him?
Nyasha, listen. The 35th law of power is all about timing, yeah. Adaptation and the timing of said adaptation. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the one most adaptable to change and timing. There is a time to fight, people, Nyasha. This is going back to Charles Leclerc. It's exactly the same thing. There is a time to fight and there's a time to get your teeth out and a time to get your elbows out and do some fuckery, for want of a better word. There is a time, and the time for Lance Stroll yesterday, he's had lots of opportunities to do that against people not his teammates. Why are you doing that against your mentor, Sebastian Vettel? You're only going to piss him off. These chaps need to learn and it's not good enough, Nyasha. There is a time and place for that, man. If you're going to be fuckery, do that to Alonso. Or do that to Albon or someone else.
But you know what? At least with Alonso, he demands respect. Seb Vettel, if I was a young people, I would not be respecting Seb Vettel.
What do you... Thandie, what are you saying?
You've got to show drive that you want to be there. Alonso will always make sure. Alonso comes like the Dark Lord.
True, though,
and he comes up and down the corridor, He comes in his black cloak and he gives you an eye and you melt. You melt. You're like, bloody hell, mate. Like... Do you know what I mean? Vettel, he's giving out daisies.
Oh,
I don't respect him.
You got me, Thandie. You know, I really want to counter that point, but yeah,
he doesn't even stay in the meetings. He's not asked. I'm so tired of us making out like Vettel. Looking at I'm so tired of us making out like Vettel wants to even be there. Like, I would not be surprised if his teammates literally like, lad, like, what do you mean?
Sack it off.
Yeah.
Thandie, you know what?
Nothing from them.
Nasha's looking at me like, argue this point for me, Cameron.
I'm gonna say shit.
I'm gonna. What Thandie said isn't factually incorrect. Vettel is in the twilight of his career, all that good stuff. I'm not sure. Listen, they talked about it on the broadcast, right? He's doing very retiree things in taking his kid round and showing them the garage and all this stuff. But you got to put some respect on his name, Thandie. He's an old head.
Obviously.
He's an OG in the game, 4-time world champion. Once upon a time, he was a gangster. He was a gangster once upon a time. Lights the flag victories, Nyasha. Am I lying?
No, it was
every race.
Bad. It was so bad that it was literally
Schumacher
killing the sport.
Schumacher
settings. It was boring as fuck, and it's hilarious to see these fans who enjoyed that. Some of them are so young, I think they've retrospectively gone back and watched this shit, but let's not even get into that. Those fans then try to tell me about my driver dominating the sport. When yours won 4 in a row, had a teammate that bottled it and was awful.
In the blown off diffuser car that was cheat codes.
Like, I don't understand. Like, so for me, I am just saying, when it comes to Seb Vettel, this guy is just there for the Aston Martin benefits, right? That is it. He gets to drive Bond cars. He gets to drive old cars from 1922. He gets to do all this, that, and the other. They paid him 25 million a year. This guy doesn't want to be fighting with Lance Stroll for 10th. This guy doesn't want to be going out in Q3. This guy, as much as I get him, he is better than that. Seb Vettel is better than Aston Martin. That team is a mess. You've got a driver in there who's so bad, but his dad is the driver, so he's never going to leave. So that's your teammate. And then you're there. They've promised you, oh, bruv, don't watch. You know when you go to an after party and the boys like, yeah, bro, there's going to be bare girls there, bare girls, come through. You come through, 3 o'clock, you're there, like, bruv, where are the girls? And he's texting them on his phone, oh, I don't think they're coming still, I don't think they're coming. That's what's happened. Seb's turned up and there's no girls. And he's unhappy. That's why he's on his phone playing Candy Crush, whatever people play. I don't fucking, do you know what I mean? So I'm just, it's got to the point now, I'm not even mad that Vettel. I actually feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Because that team is awful. And it doesn't matter how much money you want to fucking piss up the wall on his projects, Daddy Stroll, you cannot build an F1 team as a vanity project for your son. You're dumping Checo Perez, you're keeping Lance Stroll. You've got Vettel in there, 4-time world champion. Look, do I think Vettel has the ability to develop a bad car? No, I don't think he's ever done it. But nevertheless, the car shouldn't be this bad. Should Seb Vettel take responsibility for the direction the car's going? I don't think so. But I know my driver. has helped to develop a bad car before. That's what he's doing it now. He's literally doing it in front of our eyes, and he's extracting the most from it. Oh, speak of the devil. It's man like Thanos just messaged me. Yeah, I just honestly, I don't even feel sorry for Seb Vettel anymore. I don't even I don't even want to get him, because you know what, he's doing all these VTs and he's a lovely person and his heart is in the right place. So I don't want to get him the same way I'll get other people. But that Aston Martin team are not serious, and I don't think they'll ever be serious. And I think for his own happiness, I think he should just let it go. I'm not gonna lie.
Again, Nasha, I don't think you said anything that's factually incorrect, but social media, Vettel will always have a place in certain people's hearts, right? Because of the person that he is, because of the person that he is, and the activism and the social justice and the appearing on the Pride magazine and all this good stuff that he does outside of the cockpit, right?
It's really good PR from the Aston Martin team.
Yeah.
Correct.
And there's actually nothing wrong with giving.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And so we just want to delineate everything that we've just said has been specific scopes, very sharply honed in on Vettel and Aston Martin's performance. Not the social justice stuff. Not the pride. That there obviously.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Incredible. And you know
commendable stuff.
Not everyone can be Lewis Hamilton. Not everyone could do it to that level. And at least he's someone who's using his platform for change. Other drivers are saying when their fans are abusing people at the track, you say, well, it's not my fault. Even though that the fans themselves are buying tickets on his website for the grandstands, where they get these T-shirts and this uniform, this little and then okay, is that a delete? We can't. I can't say that.
We can't say that.
I can't say that.
No, you gotta take that out.
I gotta take that out. Okay,
it's borderline, bro.
Okay, that was borderline. But okay, yeah, no, on reflection, maybe. But all I'm saying is certain drivers are not taking responsibility for the platform that they have, and maybe what their platform can do for good and for bad. And at least Vettel does that, and I think you make a great point. But we are talking about a situation where a driver has been fucked over by a team which is copying other cars and going backwards, has a driver, the nepotism baby in the team, who, if it was anyone else, wouldn't be in F1 right now. And I actually feel a bit sorry for him. I'm not gonna lie. My donkey of the day quickly is Pierre Gasly.
Fair.
Pierre
as well.
Pierre, you cannot trick me. Okay.
You cannot trick me.
You cannot trick me. You cannot just keep backing your top off after every bad result. Okay. As glorious as your torso is,
mate. The call is coming from inside the house. You hear that, Thandie? Can't just back your top off.
Anyway. So I just think Pierre's fucked. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What?
I think.
What made you go with that line?
I think Pierre's got a contract till next year. I think his options for next year are slim. And if it goes on this way, if you're McLaren, do you go for Pierre Gasly?
But who else is there to go for?
Oh, well, McLaren have got American
20 junior buds. Colton.
So, so then you're looking at who? Aston Martin, maybe. Haas, maybe. Well, if they want to replace Magnussen at some point, that was a stopgap. So where we look, Alfa Romeo, he's not going to go there. Bottas is comfy. He's not going to go back to Red Bull. He is in a 18-month shop window, and that shop window has got fuck all in it right now. So I don't know, Thandie, am I being harsh? Or I just think it's not doing well this season.
Yeah, he's not.
And I think someone said it as a topic. They said, give me 2 seconds. I think it was Ruche, who said, Ruche, Hamilton Sexual at @Rushare_C. Pierre Gasly, can we talk about how shit he's been this year? Sorry, I thought it was more than that, but it's not great. It's not great, Cam.
No, he hasn't been great, to be fair. I'm not sure if he ever has been great. I don't rate. I'm not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Okay, so he had potential once upon a time, but his is a story of unfulfilled potential. He's too accident prone, keeps making mistakes, collisions for days. Not a big fan of Pierre. Not seeing it again. If we're talking BOZO genes, then he might be first contender for the BOZO Gene of 2022 award, in my humble opinion. Not seeing it.
No, fair. That's fair. Thandie, I know that's your boy still. You put him in your top five.
Top five of what?
No. Top five looking. Top five.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, make that clear, please.
Best looking. Top five best looking.
Fucking hell. Just be slipping that in there.
But yeah, I know you've always been. I remember on the first episode that we did, you've always been
the Frenchman.
A fan of Gasly.
I like him, and I see his potential. Well, has he had a shit season though? Yeah, 100%. Season been absolute rubbish. Yeah, but then again, he's hiding that behind Yuki. A lot of people are hiding behind people, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Yuki's had more high points than Gasly this season. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the tea. I
think. But Yuki's had more low. Yuki is like, you know,
helter skelter.
Yeah, it's either very good.
Helter skelter.
So
I think you just got the ECG.
I thought that was telemetry.
I'm actually gonna frame it. What do you think? I'm not gonna frame it?
She's so proud of this ECG, bruv. Like, that's her. That's the dog in her. She's so proud of it.
Let's go.
You get it tattooed on you. That'd be a cool tattoo.
Recently, you've been trying to push tattoos on me. I've seen it.
I got asked if I get a tattoo. I said I'd get a tattoo commemorating you in some way because you mean the world. And you then commented like, "He didn't just say he's gonna get a tattoo of me."
No, because that was like such a sign off. I mean, I had to make sure you definitely said it. Yeah. In case I came and you'd be like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, well, I would do that. I think, changed my life. Cameron. We've done it.
Donkeys. Yeah, I gave Scudder. I would happily riff on Scuderia Ferrari if you want me to again. Diatribe for days, but yeah, we've done that to death.
We've done it to death. Okay, guys, look, we're done. We are done. I am looking forward to listening to this. I feel like this was a good episode in amongst some of the difficulties we may have had. And apologies right now if you're listening to this and it's a bit funny, it's a bit cut in places. We had some technical difficulties. But what would Quickstop F1 be without some technical difficulties? Cameron, where can people find you on anywhere on social media? Where can they find you?
CameronF1 on YouTube always, and CameronF1 YT on Twitter. I'm trying to set up a TikTok, but I couldn't even tell you what the handle is because I'm such a novice. But yeah, catch me on those ones.
Look. The other day I did an Ask Thandie and somebody asked me who were your favorite guests. I completely forgot to add in Cam. I love when Cam comes on. He always gives great introspective and his voice is absolutely sick. It's great for the listeners.
I appreciate you saying that, Thandie.
Cam into that. 100%.
You're a legend. Appreciate you.
Look, lovely. Cam, much appreciated. Thandie, I'm just going to keep you on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just going to talk about some Quickstop F1 live. And then, but Cameron, lovely talking to you. I will talk to you soon.
Blessings.
Thank you very much.
Peace.
Toodle pip. So, Thandie.
Yeah.
In 5 days' time, we are going. Well, I think by the time this comes out, it will be 4. We are going to be live on Quickstop Live. The next time we do this, it's going to be.
I'm nervous.
Live. You're nervous. Why are you nervous?
I'm nervous because if you think about every recording we've ever done with me, you, and Tommy, how much have we edited out? How much of our stops been?
I literally, I'm gonna have to say, before we go on, we'll do a little prayer and be like, thank you.
Lord, thank you, Lord, for bringing us here.
Lord, for bringing us here today. Like, please keep our mouths from anything that could get us cancelled. Please, Please, Lord.
Let me not say it.
Let me not sin.
Let me not sin, Lord.
But like, I just want to ask you,
Yeah.
what are you looking forward to the most about Quick Stop Live?
Meeting all the fans.
Yeah.
The listeners. You guys aren't fans because we're a family. Meeting all the listeners, putting face to Twitter name, etc., comments, etc. I'm still looking for an outfit, but I cannot wait to have this amazing outfit once I have it. And I know a lot of my friends are actually coming who aren't necessarily into Formula One, but since I've started the Formula One podcast, they've really just started to get into it. And so it's so nice to kind of see people actually spend money on something that they didn't back initially and were just inquisitive about, and then to see them at a live performance. Like, honestly, it's amazing. And at the same time, let's just deep it. We are Black creators in Formula One doing a live show that sold out within how many hours?
36.
And on top of that, like, we have been inundated. Is that the word?
Yeah, inundated. Yeah, oof, that's the writer. That's the writer. Oof.
That's the writer in me.
Pen game.
Inundated. Trust me, we've been inundated with like my request messages, Nyasha's request messages, a Quick Stop request message on all social platforms have just been people who've kind of just said, please, like, is there a way for me coming? We've met people who have been like, is there any still a way of me coming? We've had the most gorgeous people, our gorgeous listeners, who have bought tickets, extra tickets, just for us to give away to people because they just support this platform so much. So I think that is just within itself, it's such a blessing. It's such a beautiful thing.
Yes, I was about to forget that we had a competition.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Right. I actually put this into the random Excel generator, right? So thank you to everyone that participated in this competition, right? This is for 2 tickets for you and a friend to come to the Quick Stop Live, right? And the winner, can I get a drum roll, Thandie, please?
Wait, can you text me who the winner is?
What do you want to say?
Oh, actually,
No, I can text you the winner. Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I just text you the username, or
just okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the username is this. This is great production, guys. I know we're keeping you on your toes. And shout out to everyone who's actually shout out to everyone.
Okay.
So, do you want me to do the drum roll?
Yeah, go on.
Are you announcing it?
Yeah.
Okay, drum roll, please.
The winner of our Quick Stop F1 competition is Becca.
There you go. Yay!
Becca, we shall see you at Quick Stop Live.
Shout out to everyone that partook in the competition. Thanks to everyone who bought tickets. Look, going back to what we were saying earlier, this shit is important. Like, and you know, we started this as a passion project. We started this as because we just wanted to talk about F1 basically, and we were like, and I remember there's a video we did, and it was like introducing Thandie, and I remember you were like, you know, when you finish the race on a Sunday and you're just like itching to talk about F1 with someone, and that's what it was like for our lives. You know, we wanted to talk about it, and I feel like we've created this incredible community where people feel safe to kind of be themselves and talk about F1 under our comments and under our posts, and they feel like an affiliation or a connection to us. And I'm really proud of that, and I think that's what I'm gonna be more proud of, that we just have all of these people who we have all of these people who are coming to see us and but to meet each other. And I think that's, you know, as much as people coming to see us and see the podcast and whatever, it's the people coming in and they're going to be meeting for the first time, and there's people and there's that community essence. I think that's really important. That's going to be a big part of what we do going forward. We want to give back. We want to put people on, and so you're going to see a lot more of that in the future. And but I just wanted to take some time out to say thank you to everyone who's bought a ticket. We are doing a live stream of the podcast recording. So for you guys who can't be there, for a few quid, you can watch the live stream of the actual
It's literally
podcast.
a few quid. Trust me, it's very cheap. I was like, myself.
Yeah. No, because you know what?
Yeah.
I don't want to. We just want to make money on the cameras, basically.
Yeah.
So that's literally it. It's not.
Yeah.
Money. We just want to be able to break even on the cameras, but it's just a way of you guys being able to be there as well with us. And so we'll leave a link for the tickets below if you want to watch the live podcast recording of us in this in a small theater.
In a small theater, it's okay. I've never. I don't know.
I mean, it's a back room of a pub, but they do like comedy shows and stuff there. So it's fully professional. There's lighting. There's a little stage. We're gonna have microphones. It's gonna be a really professional setting. So
setting. I think this is the most professional you'll ever see us.
100%. I might even have a notepad.
Yeah. Nyasha was like, I might wear a shirt. I said,
yeah.
Whoa there, Nelly.
Whoa there. So look, guys, we couldn't do this without you guys. We really appreciate you and we love you. And thank you. Just thank you for changing our lives. You really have, I think, allowed us to create something really special. And we couldn't do it without you. Thandie, any last words?
Could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Guys, please wash your hands. There's a thing called monkeypox going around. It's freaking me out. I have dreamt of this stuff last night and it's freaking me out. Can you just wash your hands, please? Because this one, just wash your hands, yeah?
It's a madness. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
it's freaking me out.
It's a madness out here. I am seeing people who are anti-COVID vaccine, like very much on a
because it plays with vanity. It plays with vanity.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. So
some of us pay the bills with this face, me included. So
I mean, look, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, bills or not. But for sure, wash your hands, guys. Stay safe. Be protected, and I am going to sign off. That is it. Thank you, guys.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Guys, thank you so much. You've been listening to Quick Stop F1. No matter what life throws at you, keep it on the black stuff. We will see you at Quick Stop Live. Oh, gosh. We're so sick. We'll see you next week. Toodle pip. Goodbye.
Bye.